Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I want to put forward evidence that the comments and position I made in my previous video emanated from direct comments made by leadership of the Alberta Prosperity Project, and which raises serious questions about the status of permanent residents, international students, work permit holder, and refugee, people who are protected persons under Canadian law, that they would need to reapply and be re-evaluated in order for their status to be confirmed in any future Alberta state. Now, this raises very, very serious and critical questions, which I thought were worth asking. And so we will take a listen to the direct comments by the leadership of the Alberta Prosperity Project, and then we would react thereafter. Take a listen.
Will Alberta be deporting Indians or South Asians after it gets its independence? I want to say good morning, Alberta patriots, wherever you are, whichever ethnicity you're from. I'm here today in Corey Park, and I'm going to show you the answer what the heads of separatist movements have answered to my question that I asked them in person, and I'm going to play to you that video in a moment. I'm in Corey Park. That's where all the oil companies are, and all the business centers are here in Calgary. This is going to be a hot place once Alberta gets more independence. Guys, now check this out and let me know what you think. In terms of immigration, so for example, what happens to your Canadian citizenship status if Alberta separates, and what happens to all the permanent residents, let's say, or I even have some people in my own community, Ukrainians, who are worried. They're saying, well, we came to Canada fleeing from Ukraine. What happens if Alberta separates? Who are living here in Alberta right now? Okay. So that's a 3-in-1 question.
Good question. So I can answer it. So first of all, you got to remember the policies that are written up in the value of freedom are not final policies. They're ones that we had to put together to cost the plan, to do the plan. But the policy there is pretty representative of the thinking. So a couple of things would happen in our minds. First of all, if you're a Canadian citizen already, you're still a Canadian citizen the day after. That doesn't change. I know people living in Italy, they're Canadian citizens. They don't have to change citizenship at all. That's one thing. Second of all, we put in the plan that we would reinstitute the old Canadian points system, and we would reevaluate every PR card and every temporary work permit to make sure it fits our criterion, so that people who are here as PR holders or work permit holders serve our requirements. And I actually think with the growth I expect from the country of Alberta, we're going to need more people, not less. Now, if you look at that point system, the value of freedom, basically, if you speak English, and you clearly do, if you have a skill, if you have an educational background, if you're healthy, stuff like that, you will get enough points to re-qualify. In some special purpose cases, there's one individual who contacted me privately and said, my wife's Japanese, she doesn't want to become Canadian, she has a PR, what's going to happen? If you've been married to a Canadian citizen for more than a couple of years, you're going to keep your PR. The intention is not to throw people out, it's to balance the requirements for workers against the needs of the country. That's what we put in, that's what's likely to happen.
Here's some secret information I have obtained directly from the organizers of the event and heads of separatism. Here's what they said. Our goal is not to boot people out of Alberta. Our goal is to create a fair immigration system. They are not going to be throwing people out and deporting every single person as soon as they come to power.
Real people who are currently working in Alberta, who are currently paying taxes, who own businesses, employ Albertans, who are also law-abiding and contributing generally to the Alberta economy. One of the biggest risks facing transitional governments globally is certainty and stability during major political shifts. Supporting independence and asking detailed questions about implementations of visions are not mutually exclusive. Serious policy proposals are worth serious examination, and that's what public discourse around these topics are for. There you go. Ultimately, discussions about Alberta's future, whether inside or outside of Canada, need to address practical reality, not just political aspirations. Clear, fair plans for people already living and contributing to the Alberta economic need to reflect what is practicable, especially because the Alberta Prosperity Project believes in the doctrine of continuity of laws. These are questions worth asking if independence movement are to be credible and workable path forward. I'll see you in the next video.